This is drbell.com.
So now here's the new attack. That's the one that's happened today. So here's Media Lens tweeted out, front page of the BBC News. This front page of the BBC News. Government helicopters dropped chlorine on Aleppo, but could not be independently verified. But could not be independently verified. So this gentleman, Charles Shoebridge, says Assad chlorine attack dominates West headlines conveniently just as his opponents meet West governments in London. Here's from a Middle East newspaper. It says, jumping to conclusions, something is not adding up in the Idlib chemical weapons attack. At least 58 people were killed in a horrific gas attack. However, even before investigations could be conducted for evidence to emerge, Federica Mogherini, the Italian high representative of the European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. This guy's a big shot in the European Union. He is the High Representative for European Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy. He condemned the Syrian government, stating that the Assad regime bears responsibility for the awful Syria chemical attack. Even before any evidence was in, who came from, where did it, what, nothing. Already knew, already going to go public. Does that sound like propaganda? The immediate accusation from a high-ranking EU official serves as a dangerous precedent where public outcry can be made even before the truth surrounding the tragedy can emerge.
Yeah, and Trump did the same thing. I mean, here in our neck of the woods.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Israeli President Benjamin Netanyahu joined in on the condemnation, as did Amnesty International. Merely hours after the alleged chemical weapons attack in Khan Sheikhm, supposedly by the Syrian government, holes are beginning to emerge from the opposition sources, discrediting the Al-Qaeda affiliate White Helmet's claims. By the way, it's the Al-Qaeda who did this. That's who's it looks, they did it before, they're probably doing it again. Doesn't make sense that Syria would do this. And by the way, we're supposed to be trying to kill Al-Qaeda, except we're not. Because we were training Al-Qaeda and ISIS to fight Assad. Isn't that weird? But then we're trying to kill them in Iraq, but we're training them, and it doesn't matter as long as there's a war to fight. Doesn't matter. It says, for one, see in the above picture, the white helmets are handling the corpses of people without sufficient safety gear, most particularly with the masks mostly used, as well as no gloves. Although this may seem insignificant, understanding the nature of sarin gas that the opposition's claim was used only opens questions. So these are the white helmets. And they're picking up these people who are supposed victims of sarin gas. And that would be dangerous to do it like that. You're supposed to have gloves on. They don't have the sufficient safety gear. Within seconds of exposure to sarin, the effects of the gas begin to target the muscle and nervous system. There is an almost immediate release of the bowels and the bladder, and vomiting is induced. When sarin is used in a concentrated area, it has the likelihood of killing thousands of people. Yet, such a dangerous gas, and the white helmets are treating bodies with little concern to their exposed skin. This has to raise questions. It also raises the question of why a doctor in a hospital full of victims of sarin gas has the time to tweet and make video calls. This will probably be dismissed as forgotten, however, and here it is. So this guy shows. He says terrorist Mohammed Alusha is not a gas expert. He's just one of the participants in this crime. And this guy tweets out, patients are flooding in, yet this doctor seems the main source of gas attack, has time to film, tweet, and video call. So he says, this is the latest from sarin attacks. Patients are still flooding in. This child's been rushed without any family. They're probably dead. So this is the guy who's been giving everybody their information about what's going on. He's talking about the gas attack and people flooding in. And this guy makes the point, really, in the middle of a gas attack, you got time to tweet, you got time to take videos, you got time. Here he says, our hospital getting full from sarin attack today. Anyone that wants evidence, I will video call you. Really? In the middle of taking care of people with sarin attack? So it turns, and also I did a little research on that guy. He's been disbarred by a long, long time ago. He was, it was a secret, hearing that he had, but he was charged with, it was semi-terrorism related, put it that way. We'll do another story about what happened to him in England. It is known that about 250 people from Majdal and Khattab were kidnapped. Get this. So it is known that 250 people were kidnapped by al-Qaeda terrorists last week. 250 people were kidnapped by al-Qaeda terrorists, the ones trying to overthrow Assad, trained and armed by the United States. The al-Qaeda, the people who attacked us, we're arming them, we're training them. Local sources have claimed that many of those dead from the chemical weapons were those from Majdal and Khattab, meaning they were the people that the al-Qaeda kidnapped. Here's another picture. It says also what is brought into question is where the location of the house is coming from in the picture. Like, where is this? Where are they? A dugout carved into the rock. That's the house. So it's So this also suggests that the location is at a White Helmet's base, where there are dugout hiding spots carved into the mountainside and where they have easy access to equipment, and highlighted by Twitter user Ian Grant. So you could see that those things are built right into the mountain, right? These little... Also, see how it goes right in?
Mm-hmm.
Also, the pickup trucks remain consistent to what local sources have said, that many of those dead were kidnapped by al-Qaeda terrorists from pro-government towns in rural Hama. So al-Qaeda terrorists went into pro-government towns to kidnap people, and they say those trucks look like the same trucks the al-Qaeda terrorists used. And by the way, where's that hose coming? Where are they? And nobody has on gloves. Nobody has on the safety gear they're supposed to have. Therefore, it is completely this goes on a little bit later in the article. It says, therefore, it is completely unsurprising that Orient TV has already prepared a, quote, media campaign to cover the Russian and Syrian airstrikes in Hama countryside against terrorist forces, with the allegations that the air forces have been using chemical weapons. So they're already reporting it like that. And most telling, their announcement of covering the use of chemical weapons by the Syrian government hours before the allegations even emerged. What? Seems like someone forgot to tell him that it would not occur for a few more hours before he tweeted this out. And here's the tweet. And it's translated underneath. It says, Orient TV reporter, quote, tomorrow we are launching a media campaign to cover the airstrikes on Hama countryside, including the use of CW. But I guess he tweeted that out a little too early. Isn't that weird? And this, of course, begs the question. With the Syrian army and its allies in a comfortable position in Syria, making advances across the country, and recovering lost points in rural Hama, Why would they now resort to using chemical weapons? Why would they? The Syrian government is winning the war in Syria now. They're taking back cities. They're liberating it from terrorists like ISIS, al-Nusra, and al-Qaeda. So why would they now do this? This screams false flag. Screams. It's a very simple question with no clear answer. It defies any logic that on the eve of the Syrian conference in Brussels and a week before peace negotiations are to resume, that the Syrian government would blatantly use chemical weapons. Agreed. Agreed. It defies any logic. Agreed. Doesn't make sense. That's not what you're going to hear on MSNBC tonight. That's not what you're going to hear on CNN or ABC or the New York Times or CNN.
You're just going to hear about Trump's knee-jerk reaction and how he how he pointed a finger at Obama too. They're going to bring it to, United States-based bickering because that's as deep as they go typically.
So this article concludes all evidence suggests this is another false chemical attack allegation made against the government as seen in the Khan al-Assal 2013 attack, where the terrorist groups hoped that the former President Obama's red line would be crossed, leading to U.S. intervention in Syria against the government. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the United States to put boots on the ground and go into Syria and topple Assad. And how do you do that? You say Assad's gassing his own people. Here's something else. Here's Partisan Girl tweeted out. She's got a blue check. She says, why would the white helmets receive sarin respirator suits only a month before the attack? Syria doesn't even have sarin gas. That's the thing everybody else remember. They got rid of all their sarin gas in 2013. Here's one more smarty pants guy. His name's Charles Shoebridge. He's a former Army officer, Scotland Yard detective, and a counterterrorism intelligence officer. He's a lawyer and a broadcaster and a writer. He tweeted this out. As Trump says, my attitude to Assad has changed. Is now clear to all who the Syrian sarin attack beneficiaries are. So he's making the point that now Trump is upset. He wants to, his attitude on Assad has changed. Before it was support Assad, go after the terrorists. Now because of the gas attack, Trump has to come out and say, yeah, I'm against Assad. And who do you think that benefits? It benefits ISIS. It benefits Qatar. It benefits Saudi Arabia. It benefits Israel. All the people who want to overthrow Assad. That's who this gas attack benefits. Doesn't make sense that Assad would do this. In fact, listen to what Trump said today.
When you kill innocent children, innocent babies, little babies.
You mean like how you did in Yemen? You mean like how we did in Iraq? You mean like how we do in Syria? You mean like how we do in Afghanistan? What are you talking about? We just got done bombing hospitals. What are you talking? Other people, that's the beauty. They kill we don't kill babies. We use good Christian bombs. They dodge babies.
People were shocked to hear what gas it was. That crosses many, many lines, beyond the red line, many, many lines.
So everybody got their wish. Trump looks like he wants to have a muscular response in Syria. Happy? This is what America wants? A war in fucking Syria. Want to go in there now? You happy? Is everybody at the DNC happy? Is Donna Brazil happy? Is Rachel Maddow happy? And Chris Hayes and Chris Matthews? Are you happy now? You got Trump. He wants to go into Syria. Are you happy? This is what you wanted, right? Maybe even a war with Russia. Because that's what that means. That means we're going to war with Russia. That's what that means. Because wherever there's a Syrian military base, there are Russian soldiers. And if we start fucking killing Russian soldiers, we're in World War III. And you happy? This is where this leads. Here's a guy, former UK ambassador to Syria. He says if jihadists wants to upset new Trump policy, they would mount a fake news attack like this. Here he is. Former British ambassador to Syria, Peter Ford. Here he is, Peter Ford. You want to hear what he says?
dogs returning to their own vomit. They made all these mistakes, Iraq, Libya. They never learn, and they would like to reproduce the same scenario in Syria. Fortunately, the Trump administration moved only last week, and this may be significant here, moved only last week to disown the Obama policy of trying to unseat the Syrian regime. Trump's people said, we're more interested in unseating ISIS. That's our priority. And you may think it's significant that this attack comes days after that. Now, if the jihadis wanted to complicate Trump's task of making America's policy more sensible, they wouldn't have gone about it any other way than trying to mount a piece of fake news like this.
I'm going to guarantee you're not going to hear that on the mainstream news. So, did you hear what he said? Trump just recently said, hey, we're not trying to topple Assad anymore. A week later, there's a sarin gas attack. Trump says, we got to, oh my God, they crossed the red line. You don't have to be a frickin' genius to understand what's happening. All you have to do is have your eyes open and look at history. And not even that long ago, 2013. Don't have to go back that far. People are rooting for war. You think I'm kidding? Look at this tweet. Susan Hennessy. She got a blue check. She says, I honestly don't care if Trump needs to bash Obama on this to score political points. I only care that Trump actually does something now. So you call him a Russian, and you red bait Trump constantly, and then you have a fake gas attack. Now we got him. Now he's got to start a war. That's all she cares about, is if he starts a war. That's what she's saying. All I care about is if he starts a war. What the fuck is wrong with you people? This is the guy you all said was unhinged and unstable, and now you want him to start a war? I thought he was unstable and a maniac. So, David Cleon says, this is insane. Here's an unstable person, and you want him to start another war. Yeah. Yeah, they do. The whole fucking mainstream media has lost their mind. They've lost their mind. And guess what? This video is going to be demonetized by YouTube. We're not getting paid to bring you this story. And you're not going to get this story anywhere else. And I knew they were going to demonetize this video before I even started it, but I'm doing it anyway. So this is getting important now. We're getting really close to a real war. Even though we're in 7 of them already. This is getting close to World War III, and I want to keep covering this. So if you'd like to see some more reporting on this, YouTube doesn't want to. Their advertisers don't want to see our reporting on this. The mainstream media, the Democratic Party, nobody wants to see our reporting on this. That's why they're demonetizing it, and we won't get paid, and our channel's taking a big hit, just like all the other news channels on YouTube. So please use our Patreon link or become a premium member and help support independent news media. We can't do it without you now. We never could before either, but now for sure. They just pulled the rug out from underneath us. You know what's going on with YouTube. I'll make another video about it. But this story needs to get told, and it needs to keep being told. And you wonder why people get their news from YouTube. Hey, our next live Jimmy Dore show is April 24th. April 24th, live in Burbank. We do 2 shows a month, live shows. So get your tickets right down there, jimmydorcomedy.com.